right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Talk Story with DJ and Kanila. I am Kanila Tripp. That is DJ Calvikane. In our virtual studios with us today is Napua Ahina, writer and colorist and an artist. And we're gonna do our normal stream. We're gonna talk story and we're gonna have fun, hopefully. Let me close my window. DJ, we're gonna start with your. I guess it's not really a retraction; it's more of a clarification.
Well, nah. Let's do MauiCon first. Where are you going?
I just went to close the window.
Oh, okay.
I talk loud apparently, and I distract people in the other room.
Oh.
No,
I want to do. No, I never know we had that order. Let's do MauiCon.
Let's talk about MauiCon first. First of all, DJ and I went to MauiCon. I know that you weren't there, Napua. Have you been to MauiCon before at some point?
No, hoping to next year.
MauiCon is a great convention for local creators. Alika pulls out all the stops for us, and we're the important people there for him. So, starting off with DJ, tell us about your convention.
The convention is, like you said, MauiCon is such a good convention, man. Especially for us locals, because Alika is awesome. So, sorry, I have to draw and talk at the same time, but
right. That's the whole point, though, right?
Right. But anyways, so the convention is so good. Just Alika and it's so laid back, small, but it's growing. Like especially if you came from the previous years, seeing how small it was, and you seen like these big time creators starting for jump on. So we first started. Well, I came on the second year because I missed the first year, and then he started getting a little bit more people, a little bit all the local. You know how it is, the poor. Like all of us locals, we kind of know which conventions we're gonna do. You know what I mean? And so once he got, I think it was Frank Cho that one year. You know what I mean? I think it was the year before last year. Then it's been steadily growing, and it's not growing too fast. You know what I mean? It's growing at a good speed. It's growing at a good click where it's like it's not going to be too fast for the little people like us. You know what I mean? So I dig that. I dig that. So like a couple years ago, he had Frank Cho, and then he had the cartoonist kayfabe guys, and he'll always bring in like some. Like not too many people, you know what I mean? Like a handful of people, and then so it doesn't overwhelm everybody, but the people that know comics know that these are important people, you know what I mean? So I dig that. So this year was fun because he brought in who did he bring in? He brought in Gail Simone,
Frank Cho as usual.
Yeah. So
Uncle Steve Leloha.
Even and Trina Robbins,
and Willie Ito, Ryan Otley from Invincible.
That he brought in. That's the bigger names, right?
Yeah, and then what's his name? Actor
Rick Leonardi was awesome. I actually got to talk stories a little while with him, like you know what I mean. So
very soft spoken gentleman, very sweet, very nice.
Yeah. Hi, Connie. And we saw Connie over there. We saw,
Connie was there.
Suspects, you know what I mean? Sam Campos, Mark Gold, Art Long. Who else going on? Mog Park was there. Todd, of course.
Todd Bernardi on Vuhu is our regular guest here.
Bowman was there. I forget, like Rusty, you know what I mean? Swan,
Rusty Bailey, Swanee, Mike Cannon,
Reed. I always get good. So getting into the con, like I always get good fun hanging out with, Reed, John Murakami, Gwen, and Todd guys, and Andrew guys. Like they don't little group who always just kind of hang out with. You know what I mean? So I always end up because of Todd. Because Todd always drink with Gwen and Reed, you know what I mean? So
yeah, because they drink just as much as he does.
Exactly. You guys know me, I don't drink, you know what I mean? So But I was gonna find Todd, and we always gonna find something to do. So
Yeah.
that he always gonna find John. He gonna find Reed. He gonna also funny. So Friday night we get inside, and then we hanging out at John's room at, I forget what hotel there was at, someplace in Kihei, and then we messing around and goofing around, and oh, Michael Cannon was there too.
Yeah.
But anyways, we still messing around, and then we we ready for go. So we're ready for go. We gotta go back into our cars and go. So me and Reed, we always playing around, like just like overgrown kids. You know what I mean? So I
What?
tell
That never happens in real life.
so I tell him, oh, I tired. Carry me to my car. So he go lean forward, like he go piggyback me, and I jump on top of his back.
Yeah, I'm sure he appreciated that.
Yeah, Reed is not a small guy. Reed is bigger than me. Like, you know what I mean? Reed is like
Oh yeah,
six. He's, I
trust
don't
me,
know.
you know.
You know what I mean?
He's
So I
6'1", 6 foot,
back,
and
and he never know I was gonna do that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He never know I was gonna jump, and I jump on his back, and that's where his knees was gonna buckle. His knees, but he would hold on. You know what I mean? He would hold on. He was like, no, no, I'm not going down. I'm not going down.
So when I got in on Saturday morning, first thing we did was grab couple dozen donuts from Krispy Kreme, and then we
Right?
packed up and we showed up at the convention center and we set up. And it was I was actually impressed that it wasn't a ton of people, but there was a constant flow of people. It wasn't. I don't know that we had any really truly dead room times, which was nice. Which actually surprised me because there were times in older Molly cons where there were times where nobody showed up, but that was like in the dead middle of the convention. For
Yeah.
me, the best thing about the convention was, and in conventions in general, for me personally, because I've been to San Diego, I've been to other conventions as well. It's after the convention is over, when the guests and the attendees, we all hang out, we all do stuff together.
Right.
This year, we went to Kelly's Filipino restaurant in Kahului, and
Yep.
we had a dinner. There was karaoke. There were people outside uh, smoking cigars and enjoying each other's company. It's the way conventions are supposed to be, where the people attend like build relationships, and that's my favorite part of conventions to begin with. And Sunday was clean, but everyone decided to leave early. Like this gentleman DJ right here who left at what 3 o'clock or something.
My flight was at 4:30, so I had to be there at like 2:30 because TSA
Yeah,
line in Bali is crazy. Like you gotta, otherwise you're gonna miss your flight. And I couldn't because I live on a big island. There's no no one direct flight I think on Sunday. So I gotta fly from Maui to Honolulu and then go back to the big island, which is dumb. And I couldn't get off of work because I just got off of like 2 months TDI because I had surgery. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I exhaust all of my time off. You know what I mean? So I couldn't.
So have you attended any conventions yet, Napua, or are you still not quite there?
I did the Super Saturday.
Super Saturday.
When was
There's another
that?
one
In
coming up
fall?
soon here too.
Yeah. I'm not going to this weekend's one, but I know On is.
Yeah. On and Connie, I think.
Yeah, I
And
think
a
they're
couple
sharing
other
a
people are
booth.
going to be sharing a table. Yeah.
See, Connie had to leave too.
Yeah. She left and didn't stay too late either, which is to be expected.
Yeah. That's my favorite part is hanging out with everybody. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It absolutely is, and because of the people that we know, we often get opportunities to hang out with the guests.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had good conversations with Rick because I
Yeah.
stayed with Amy, and I shared a room, and we took Rick to breakfast in the morning. We had a nice conversation, talk about the industry in general, and little things like how Jim Lee would have his Halloween parties or convention parties, and Jim had this thing where he'd have parties at conventions at San Diego, and not the kind of parties you think. It would be like he would give a certain amount of money to the girls who work on staff at Wildstorm, and that's what they had to use to make a party. Well, one year, I don't remember the exact amount, but it was close to or well over $1 million, and they got a camel. And that's part a camel. Did you hear that? I said a camel as part of the party. It's hilarious, but that's the kind of thing that Jim was notorious for. I remember hearing a story about how we were in the lobby of Wildstorms one year during the convention, and Jim basically said, let's go to Tijuana. Ordered up the nose, and everybody went down to Tijuana from San Diego. I'd love to be able to party like that, man. I tell you what. So yeah, I had a really good convention. We were able to talk to a lot of people. I might have picked up a little work here and there, and it's gonna be. I think this next year will be really good as well. And I'm looking forward to going to Maui again next year. So I missed last year's Maui Con, but I'm happy. Was happy to be able to make it this year. It was great.
Who did you get to talk to, like, as far as like the bigger names?
I talked to Ryan Otley because he and I have worked for Robert Kirkman before. We spent some time together. I'm going to try to get him to draw a cover for my book. I still haven't talked to him about that directly. I mean, I asked him. We haven't talked more than me just asking. I've talked with, Uncle Steve spent a lot of time at our table on Friday. I mean, on Saturday afternoon. We had a great conversation. Sweetest man. I dig it. And I'm looking forward to working on that pinup with him and you, DJ. And then I was able to visit with Gail and Scott over at the restaurant that night. We had a little conversation there. That was nice when they were planning their trip to Ahina, which they went to, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday, which is great. So very down to earth people, salt of the earth, and just nice and sweet, which you can't get better than that. I don't know that we've had. Go ahead.
No. When Trina came to the table, she was so cute. She was like,
I don't know where I am.
I was like, well, you just go have fun. When you're ready, let me know. I take you back. So I took her to the other side.
And what's nice is I don't know that we've had a whole lot of party animals that showed up to Maui. I mean, we did have Tex show up that one time, party animal.
He's always fun, man.
But he's always fun. And what I mean is, like, people that just go overboard and aren't pleasant to be around. Everyone that we've had come to Maui so far, I think, has at least been pleasant to be around. Good people in general. So that's always been nice about the convention. I
think the secret to, well, not the secret, but I think one good reason for that is because Alika doesn't bring too many people. We can kind of like give the aloha vibe. So the aloha is gonna really affect the guests, you know what I mean? And if they just pick up on the vibe and they just ride along with that wave, then everything will be fine. It's when you get people that, they when you bring too much people and they overwhelm everything else and they just kind of do their own thing. That's when things can go out of hand. It doesn't always, but that's when the potential for that stuff can really happen. So I dig it. But Texas is one fun hangout. He's not.
But Texas, Mark Teixeira, Napua. Mark Teixeira was at the very first Maui Comic Con. On the second one.
I met him at the Hawaii Con a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He was there at the second Maui Comic Con. The first time we were at UH Maui.
Yeah, he was also at the Hawaii Con a couple times. Like, I don't know if it was Daniel. Daniel or Amy brought him and like kept bringing him back. Like, you know what I mean?
Might have been Daniel for signature.
Yeah. So So I got to hang out with Uncle Steve was always, he will come talk stories.
Absolutely.
But then I got to but I got to ask Rick Leonardi some questions. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I asked him, what did I ask him? Oh, what's his favorite run? Because he was always drawing, right? So he told me his favorite run of comics that he drew was so when he left Marvel, he went to DC and he did Birds of Prey. And then from Birds of Prey, they put him on Nightwing, I think it was. And then from there, they put him on, I cannot forget the third one, but it was something in around the Bat family, like I want to say Batgirl or something like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And then he gave me one. he told me one awesome little piece of advice. If you like draw comics, monthly comics, he got pulled into the office when he was working at Marvel, and he got pulled in and was Romita Senior. So John Romita Senior told him, if you want to do this, you gotta have 20 to 30 panels that you can draw in your sleep. And I was like, oh, that's the way these guys do them. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta have 20 to 30 panels where it's like you're not even thinking about it. It's just you're gonna do that. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh,
Where muscle memory takes over and you don't have to think about it and you can do it so fast it's not really
right.
It's almost like shorthand.
What's bad, girl? Yeah. But yeah, I got to talk stories with him, and then he was he's such a quiet guy. He was just telling us stories, like horror stories about conventions, early conventions. I always like hanging out with the guys that they get the wisdom they get the experience, you know what I mean? So I always try grab that and try to make them about them. It's just what I can't handle is when I'm talking to somebody, and mind you, we only get limited time with these people, and then some local person, they like take up all the air. It's like, no, I don't like hear from you. I can hear from you anytime. Anytime I can hear from you. This guy is here for one night or 2 nights. You know what I mean? Let him talk. And so I try to push the buttons and let him talk. Let him talk, and I can just collect and take notes. You know what I mean? Well, some people come by and they just like steal the conversation, and it's like, I don't want to hear from you. I really don't. We can talk later on. You know what I mean? But that's just me. So Connie said Rick gave her some advice on how to improve her pencils to prep for inkers. Yeah, he's a very nice man. Oh, that's cool.
Hey, Brett, how you doing? Good to see you again.
How's it, Brett? Oh, and then I got Ryan Otley. That was like, I was like, all right.
What was the compliment?
He was standing next to you, and he looked at me. He's like, "Well, you got a nice looking book." I was like, "Wow, Ryan Otley gave me a compliment, right?"
That's good. I didn't pay attention. I don't know where I was all this weekend.
Oh yeah, Jeremy.
All right.
Hello, Jeremy. I ran into him at the airport, and then we had the same flight home. So.
Oh, cool.
Alika, you want the link? You want to hang out with us? Let me know. I'll just send you the link anyways.
All right.
He's awesome.
We enjoyed MauiCon immensely, and we look forward to going again next year. And I don't know that there's much else to say. It's a great time. We have enjoyed it. People were good and fun, and it was a nice venue. And people like Auntie Kamiki or my cousin Kamiki just spreading the law everywhere. It was awesome. There's nothing else to say about it other than a great time, and it was awesome. So.
I can finally say more, but we can move on.
Yeah, we can say more, and we probably will throughout the day. But all right. For those of you who don't know, our guest today is Napua Ahina, who's an artist and colorist, and she's making a comic book right now. And I'm going to ask her to tell us about herself and some of the things that she does and the things that she's working on. The forum is yours for a little while. Why don't you tell us about what you're doing? And who you are.
Right now, working on a collaborative project with Drew and Connie, Dracula 1944. And it's been a blast working with them. I mean, we all have lucky enough to have the same vision of what we want the book to be and how we want it to look and the feel. So it's not a struggle at all, and communicating really well. And we're almost halfway done with the pencils.
I better finish that cover then.
Yeah. So Kanila's going to do an alternate cover for us, hopefully. And
no, I'll get it done. It's a matter of trying to. For me, it's a matter of coming up with a vision. I'm not really seeing anything in my head right now, which is bothersome.
Cover,
yeah. So anyway, tell us about
working on his cover. Looking really, really good. He's doing a combination of traditional and digital art for it, and it's looking really good.
Right.
Amazing that
Who is it? Is it Drew?
Drew.
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gutierrez.
I gotta mention him. I always get good fun with him too, man.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
a good guy.
And he loves horror comics too. So he's like, him and Connie are the best people to be working on this like locally, because it's totally things that they love and things that they know. So I wrote the script for it a couple years ago, and I was actually working with Vincent Kukua to try and make it. It's going to be more of a comedy horror, but then he passed away.
Right.
So I rewrote the script to be more of just a classic horror story with Dracula and Nazis, and took a lot of the comedy out of it. And Connie was really interested to get in on the project. Drew was chomping at the bit to have a go at it. Like I said, they're big horror fans, and it's been going really great. So we're looking to have it done for Amazing in February.
Ah.
Yeah, Drew is doing digital inks, and he is just doing so amazing because Connie's pencils are so detailed, and Drew hasn't really done digital inking like for a full book before. So this is going to be something of a challenge, but he's doing a great job. Good. And he's putting so much emotion into the inks. It's really coming off eerie.
I have to go step aside for about 5 minutes. I will be right back. Okay. Keep talking, you two. You guys go for it.
Connie, do you want the link? I could, if you do, you want to come inside, Connie, and talk, because you guys, you guys two could talk about the. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, come on in, Connie.
I will send you the link right now. You can come in. Okay, so how did you guys come up with? Oh, so you was working with Vincent, and it was comedy, and so because look, so was it Vincent was the comedy guy, or because of like what was the decision? Why was the shift to take out the comedy and make them dark?
Or make it actually originally came from a dream I had. Where Dracula was like seriously in an action movie fighting Nazis in his pajamas. And so when I wrote the script for it, I added in a lot of, cheeky humor and some jokes, trying to make light of the situation. And Vincent really liked that. I guess it was kind of up his, vein of what he likes to do.
Vincent's style is really lighthearted, so I could see why that would work with his style. Oh yeah, I guess Connie is more serious as an artist, like you know what I mean.
Well, her zombie book is actually pretty funny.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but it's pretty funny.
But just looking at Connie's lines, like you know what I mean, she's like artist kind of. Whereas Vincent was more like his style was cartoony and fun. Yeah. So I could see why the shift would happen. Oh, shout out to our late brother Vincent Kukua, and I was supposed to work on something with him too as well. I gave it. Oh man, that's so sad. Anyways, so yeah, okay. So talk about the story. Talk about the what is it called again?
Dracula 1944.
Dracula 1944. Okay.
Originally, I had made it 1945, but Connie and Drew brought it to my attention that was already kind of the end of the war. So we needed to time it back by a year. Okay.
Is that World War One? Like I'm not a history. Two.
Oh, World War II, and it takes place in occupied France.
Oh, okay. How come they attacked us in? Was it 46, 47? The Japanese,
you mean like Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. Isn't it still going on after that, or is it? I don't know. I don't know my history. I'm terrible.
Yeah, well. They were fighting on two fronts, right? There was the Pacific, and then there was Europe.
Okay. So anyway, back to the comic. Okay, so it's a horror comic, straight up horror now.
Yeah.
How many?
There's a few little jokes, but mostly it's just horror.
Oh, okay. Horror is like the like everybody love horror. Like, you know what I mean? Anybody can go like, and horror works in every genre. Like, you know what I mean? It especially works well in like black and white comics,
Yeah.
but you can do them in color too. You know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah. So what we're doing is mostly black and white with some spot red.
okay.
So just
Oh,
certain
that's
places.
hi, Connie.
Hey,
Hello. Hello. Hi there.
All right, I am back. Back
welcome
by
back.
popular demand.
Back by popular demand. Are you popping out again, or are you good?
I will be popping out in probably about 45 minutes for half an
Okay.
hour, but I'll be back after that.
Oh,
So
okay.
we got plenty of time now to visit and chat and talk story.
Okay.
All right. So
All right, full house.
so since you're both here, why don't you tell us a little
Sure.
bit about your background in art? Where did it come from? What got you started? Why comics?
Go
Start
for it,
with
Connie.
Connie, since she just walked in.
Oh,
Haha, jump right into
I
the
just
fire.
walked in from the street and nobody knows who I am.
That's right.
Well, actually,
You don't know who you are.
my mom's side of the family has always been very artistic. My grandfather was an architect, and his kids afterwards are an architect, a landscape designer. My mom studied texture design. So
Mm.
one of the first things that I got as a toy is just like, here, draw with this. So both my sister and I started drawing really, really early, and yeah, so drawing always loved that, and I always loved comics too. But I said that at that women's panel too, that my dad was always a little bit less forthcoming with support for art, because even although my mom's family was very successful at what they were doing, he would always tell me that yeah, with art you can't make any money with art. So for the longest time I was just kind of dragging my feet, didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and it just kind of never came together. And then when I moved to the States in 1999, I started interning at a t-shirt screen printing place, and because I still was working on I was working at my work visa, I started just catching shirts and all that kind of stuff, and eventually I made myself into the artwork over sort of like
Hmm.
internship, and that's how I started doing design and production design, that kind of thing, and I've done that for about self-taught production design, and then marketing and signage and all that kind of stuff, expanding more and more and more, kind of getting that kind of thing. And then, I mean, I always loved comics, but I never really drew that much into it until COVID, and that's where I kind of got a little bit more into the comic jam. And
Hey, yeah,
I met
COVID was the first
Ron.
time I yeah, when we did
Yeah,
that
so
horror
so
panel.
I yeah, that's right, we did. Um, that was the second year though. I think the first year on it started with that 101 Tales. So that was the first time
Mm.
that I kind of got into it a little bit
Right.
more, and then I started getting yeah, and I started to get a little bit more interest in doing covers and pinups and those kind of things. So that was my first start with that. And just this year, I just decided, you know what? Screw all this. I'm just going to do my own book. And that's when I did the Simple Bare Necessities, that zombie book.
Hmm.
And I finished that one pretty quick. Like within 2 months, I had the concept, pencils, inks, and everything printed. Whammo, done. I think after
Yeah,
that, I
Wow.
needed a like an emergency break, and I didn't draw anything for at least 2 months. So it's just so burned
yeah.
out.
That's kind of how it
But
is,
yeah,
right? After
yeah,
a big project of art and intense, you kind of want to just shut down and do absolutely nothing that has to do with it for a
yeah,
while. It's like,
Yep.
yeah.
no, just let me go on
It
a
just
hike
doesn't
or
flow.
yeah, let me go on a
Yeah,
hike
it just
or
doesn't
I don't
flow.
know, play tiddlywinks. I don't,
And well, in my case, I just go watch horror movies. So yeah, we all have our happy places. But
oh
yeah,
yeah.
and this new project with Napua and with Drew, this is the first time that I'm actually doing interior pencil pages for anybody else's project,
Hmm.
and the first time that I'm actually having somebody else working to ink my work. which is a new thing for me too, because I've always kind of like relied on the fact that the first comic that I could do the pencils very sloppy, and because I've got the same idea, I can just kind of fill in the blanks as I go. So with this one, I have to be a lot more precise and a lot more clean, and I find that really challenging. That's a really, really cool thing to try out just for shits and giggles, you know.
S&G, man, S&G.
Yep.
It's a favorite of mine.
Well, you know how much I giggle, so. Yeah, so. But I know that Napua said that she had this as a dream, this story. So, and I know that Trina actually told me that she actually had a story that she drew, and then somebody else was coming up to her and saying like, "Oh, I dreamed the story," and she said, "Well, I gave that person a dreamer's commission or something like that." She gave that person a dreamer's commission. That was really cute.
Napua, tell us about your art background. Where you studied? Did you study? Is it more of a hobby for you? Tell us about what you're thinking.
Started as a hobby. I was a graphic designer for local retailer, and it was just something to do creatively. And learning Photoshop was kind of part of my job. So getting used to Photoshop and all of its capabilities and finding workarounds for things, and that all kind of became part of my job and my hobby. So I still work mostly in Photoshop. Is what I'm most familiar with, and using a mouse. I don't use a tablet or anything like that. Which is probably not the most efficient way to do it, but that's what I'm used to.
Whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Yeah.
I used to have a colorist that worked for me at Wildstorm that worked with a mouse, and it took him about a month to be able to start using a Wacom tablet, which honestly, I understand that people have their preferences, but I tell you, you work like 10 times faster when you use a tablet, but they each their own. Yeah,
there's a learning curve.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There's absolutely.
Right now, mostly though, it's just I don't know. I just stick to what I'm comfortable with.
Well, it's kind of how I am with. It's kind of how I am with Crypt Studio Paint. I'm using it to do drawing, but I'm not coloring with it yet. So,
have you tried Procreate yet? I hear a lot of good things about that.
I've been using Procreate for about 6 or 7 years, so I just don't use it for color. I use it for drawing but I haven't been doing it in a while. But anyway, yeah. Huh.
So yeah, it was just mostly a hobby, and mostly just trying to be creative in my off times. And when COVID happened, I really decided to shift away from coloring. I guess I'd been doing it for so long that it wasn't really as fun as it used to be. So I started to get more into writing. So I'm sitting on a couple of scripts right now, mostly fantasy stories, small short stories, turning them into scripts. So that's kind of what I've been working on lately.
Yeah. DJ and I don't know about anything about having fantasy stories in our head. So we completely understand.
Well, and the occasional horror story too.
Yeah, there you go.
Dibs. But
so you plan on
your watercolors. Your watercolors are absolutely amazing. I just wanted to mention that Napua's colors are really, really beautiful. Like
thank you.
Very expressive. They look simple, but they have a lot of character to them.
Thank you. Yeah, I started doing that around the time of COVID when I stopped doing digital colors. And my therapist actually said it was really good for me. He could see a definite improvement in my mood. And he's like, just keep doing that. And so I still do the watercolors, try to paint every day.
Nice. You've got one on me there because I can't. Sometimes I just go days without drawing anything. I'm just so busy doing other work, and it just kind of gets overwhelming, which is not ideal, but what can you do, right?
Yeah.
Pay the bills.
We do what we have to. I mean, I'm lucky. As a teacher, especially as a teacher that's doing art as one of my subjects, I get to do a lot of art in my workplace and as demonstrations and stuff. So I tell you, it's very good, but it's also a little bit frustrating sometimes because stuff doesn't always work up here and over here. So you have to try to fight your way through it. And as an artist in general, if you're doing it to make money, you have to fight through it. And that was the first thing I learned when I started doing freelance coloring is that, look, it's a job. You got to wake up. You got to start doing the work. You can't put it off. You just got to do it. Of course, not everyone can do that. I didn't do it very well. And I completely understand where you're coming from with regards to coloring. I stopped coloring for about 4 years. Just stopped. Part of it was because I was doing a caregiver for my father, but another part of it was I just wasn't being fulfilled for a while. And I had been doing it for 20 years, on and off. And but lately, finding the right people to work with, DJ, has been great because then I'm able to. I have a vision of what I want to work with, and it's been nice being able to get into it. Now, if only we had this pinup that he was going to draw and Steve Lealoha was going to ink, then I was going to color. That would be amazing. Anyway.
You're about as subtle as a gun.
Subtlety. Was I being subtle? I don't know that I was being subtle.
I see the question there. Somebody's asking what you're drawing.
Oh, I'll show you.
Yes.
I don't know how to get my camera working without the mic going. So I hate that. So I'll just show you guys what I'm working on. Like this.
Is that a page of some book that some writer in this group talks about sometimes?
Maybe.
That might be a certain page from a certain book.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Awesome.
Okay.
I am working on, because I didn't have anything to do for a while. I've decided to redraw all of my. Hold on, let me present.
Don't redraw, recolor Exilian. That's what you can do. Come on, man.
I will. Once I get more flats. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna.
Kuzma has a question. So he says, as an artist, do you think the levels of an artist's popularity mean their advice means more? Like if a beginner artist gives another beginner artist advice means less than a well-known artist's advice? My answer to that is yes. I'll never go to somebody who I don't respect their art and ask them for advice. You know what I mean? It's like, what experience do they have? What knowledge do they have? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how can they help me? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not to say I don't respect them, but if I want to level up as an artist, I'm going to go to somebody better than me. You know what I mean? Go to somebody better and then go to that person and then, hit that person up. And that's the reason when we get these conventions, I always want to go in and hit up all the old pros like Rick Leonardi and, right. Well, I never get time to talk to Ryan Otley, but, anyways, I'll always try and find like the best guys and just get something. Just get one piece of advice. Even one piece of advice from somebody better is better than anything. Like, you know what I mean? It's better than anything else.
I'm going to answer that question by. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think that fame itself is an indicator that you can learn something from that person. I would say that there's a lot of people in the local artist alley that are good at something very specific and that you can look at and ask for advice all over the place. Because there's a lot of
that there, yeah.
Different strengths and different weaknesses. And I've had other people ask me for advice for something, for example, because I specialize in a certain kind of art that they're interested in. But I would definitely say that the artists that we had there in the main headliners were so easy to talk to about a whole bunch of different things.
Oh, yeah.
That was just my 2 cents right there.
Yeah.
My answer to that question is twofold. The first answer is, if you're asking someone who is a beginner artist,
Right.
and you're a beginner artist, I will also say that you're probably not going to learn a whole lot depending on what you ask. Again, like Connie says, if they're really good at drawing with a pencil and you're really good at drawing with a pen, and you want to know more about drawing with a pencil, they're a good person to at least get some cursory information from. If you're at a point where you need to level up, as DJ was talking about, I'm going to give you the advice that a certain professional wrestler used to say. He said, if you want to beat the best, be the best, you got to beat the best. If you want to learn how to do something from someone who's really good at it, you don't ask someone who doesn't know how to do it. Now, Connie is right. There are people who are really good at certain things, and there's not a problem asking them, because let's be honest. There's 100 people that know certain things about comics and art more than I do, no matter who they are. I'll ask them for advice. But
yeah, it's not
if
to
you
say
want
that,
to, right, absolutely. If somebody's going to ask questions about coloring, I totally will answer them because I know a lot about it, and that's not something I'm afraid of talking or sharing, because I know more than some people have forgotten. It's about Photoshop, even. Like, there are things that functionality in Photoshop that I used to use in Photoshop 3 that don't even exist anymore. So I can teach you how to do channel ops, and some people don't even know what channel ops are anymore. Does anybody here know what channel ops are?
nope.
Channel operations? No. That's the
channel
basis. The basis of all most filters in Photoshop come from channel operations, where you affect the channel, you create selections, and you adjust things in that manner. So it's a long story and a more detailed than it needs to be. The answer then is depends on what you ask and who you ask and what you want to know.
But it's not to say that nobody has experience. But if you want to level up, and that was the question, right? If you want to level up, so I would go up. But depending on what level you at. Anyway, so he got another question right here, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to read that question right now because I have an answer for that. Should people really consider an artist's negative social media presence? Should it overshadow their skill? Like, if an artist's art is so amazing, but they are a jerk to people on their platform, will that affect their status in the comic industry? And I can tell you, absolutely. It will absolutely ruin your reputation, and no one will want to work with you. I know a number of artists that were like that, and there are a number of artists now out there who no one will work with because of their social media activities. Meaning, I'm going to go out and say it. They've got those, what is it? The right-wing guys that don't want women in comics. You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember their names. The Comicsgate. Call them Comicsgate. There's a few artists that jump in there, and the moment that somebody jumps into it, they're negatively looked at. And whether they're good people in all other aspects of their life, it doesn't matter, because this one aspect where people are jumping on them because of their opinions are tainting people's experiences with them. And let's remember, not only are comics a social medium, meaning as creators, we're usually not just one person making them. There's a team of people working on them. So you have to be able to work with those people. When you go to the comic store as someone who reads comic books, you got to go to the comics owner if you don't know what you're looking at, to talk to them about it, to talk to the people that are around there about it. So comics in general is really a social endeavor. And I don't know how you could be part of this social endeavor and be a jerk. But people are out there and they do it. And it makes it very hard for people to work with them.
I want to say also that social media is like the face sometimes of a company. Like how a person's going to present themselves in public. And if you're going to be a mean, ugly person to fans, to public, it does overshadow the project, and it can make people not want to read what you're putting out there. And it could be the best thing, the most beautiful art, the best story ever, but it just leaves a sour taste in people's mouth, and they don't want to have anything to do with it just because of that.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me read the question again. Yeah, I remember one guy. Oh, I forget his name, but he was on real. His art was real good, but he was such a dick to me, man. He was such a prick, and I was like, okay, that one turned me off. Like, I never gonna buy one comic from that guy ever again. Like, you know what I mean? And I used to collect his. I like, you know what I mean? I used to like his art was good, and like I always tell everybody, I used to collect comics for the art. So I don't care if the story is bad. If the art is good, I buy them. And that's one guy that I just not gonna buy him anymore from because he's, you know what I mean? So, you know,
Yeah, no, totally understand. And that's
I would
that's
say
the
that
thing too.
in this, I would say that in this day and age, a person's personality more than ever is part of their brand. It
yeah,
never used to be like that because you had to specifically go to Comic Cons to actually seek them out and find out what they were like. But nowadays, how you are in social media and in everywhere else is part of the product.
you know,
Simply because it's visible to everybody and everybody can connect to it. Adversely, I would say if somebody is extremely nice, some people might want to seek them out specifically because of that, even although their art might not be as good. So that works the other way around too. I would say if somebody is very, very easy to work with and very nice and very pleasant to be around, people will seek them out in a team simply because of that, I would say.
hmm
Of course, it helps if they're good with their art too, so I don't want to leave that out.
okay. They'll got
All right,
one
DJ,
more
there's
question.
another question.
Okay. How do you decide how much you charge for a commission? If you have a flat rate, would you ever change it? And when would you change it? Yearly, monthly? I change. Well, depends. That's deciding on how much you charge. That's your choice. You know what I mean? You charge however you want. Like I get people telling me I way too low, but I know why I low. I charge low because I like the little kids get them. You know what I mean? I like like I did one commission that I would usually charge like maybe 50, $100 for them, but I gave them to the little girl for like $20 just because she was into it. You know what I mean? I rather inspire the next generation. But if she would look like she had money, I would be like, yeah, like you know what I mean. If she was an adult that I could tell was going to be able to afford them, then I would have charged my regular rates. You know what I mean? But especially kids, I get on soft spot for kids, so I always gonna give them one good deal. But how would you change? Depends
I'm gonna
too
answer
on
that real quick. I'm gonna answer it real quick. If you figure out a way to to decide how much to charge me for people for commissions, let me know. I've been doing
right.
this for 25 years. I still don't know how much to charge people. In fact, again, just like DJ, everybody says, "Oh, you're not charging enough," but then I feel like I'm like raping people over coals. So I don't even know how to do it myself either.
I totally
Okay.
get that same idea because my rates when it comes to more complex commissions are actually very fluid. So it depends on the size. It depends
Yeah.
on whether they want to have it colored or just black and white, what kind of medium, how much detail it is. And one of the things that I kind of like to specialize in is mashups and very detailed things. So those can add up when it comes to the price and the time that is involved in it. So I have to estimate that. And even then, people a lot of times tell me that I'm charging too low, but I don't know. Sometimes it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I will say this
And
though, it really
yeah.
depends on where you're located because when the Hawaiian Comic Book Alliance went to Las Vegas, the local Las Vegas artists were charging like $20 for a fully pencil drawn full body like finished pieces of art, and
That's
I
what I.
couldn't believe it. That was
That's
like
what
a normal price, like $25. I couldn't believe it. I mean, they should be charging like at least 100, I would think, for something that finished. So
yeah.
I think it kind of depends where you're located to. And I think Hawaii is a little bit more of an expensive place to live, and art supplies are harder to come by. So maybe people should be charging a little bit more than certain mainland markets. That's my opinion.
Mm.
You know, I just saw that little that question one more time. Would you ever change it? I have not been above charging an asshole charge on people who've been
An
particular
asshole
dicks. I have
surcharge,
not
right?
been above that. Yes.
Or hey, and I've actually charged. I don't want to sell this charge. Like if it's a piece of art and I'm displaying it, I don't really want to sell it. I'll double the price just so that if it's worth. Okay, fine. If you're gonna pay for it, here's double. If then it'll be worth me unloading it. But for the most part, if there's a certain thing I don't want to sell, I don't sell it.
Yeah, if it's some drawing that you don't like to, I'm gonna charge them ridiculously high, and I've done that just so that they would be like, "Hell no, I'm not paying." I was like, "Okay, good," because you know,
I like them.
like if I don't like do the drawing, but you gonna pay me $1,000 for do this drawing, okay? Now I'm gonna get $1,000, so yeah, I'm gonna do this drawing. You know what I mean? But if I like the drawing, I'm like, if I like the look at this guy. If I say I'm a kid at heart, would I get a lower rate? This guy got a full beard on. No, bro, you're not getting a lower rate.
I'll give you my lower rate, the lower part of my foot up your okole. How's that? Oh, yeah.
This guy. So next year, there's only one MCU movie coming out. Do you think Marvel is stepping back because of superhero fatigue, or they want to step back and get back to better writing? What's the last MCU movie have y'all seen?
It's Bob Iger. It's Bob Iger. You know who Bob Iger is?
Bro. Marvel is out, bro.
Bob Iger is the president of Disney, and he is pulling back on DCU. I'm the MCU stuff. That's just my opinion. I see it, and he's been wanting to get away from the TV series things that they've been doing. I don't know. I see it him jumping in and changing things because he wants to try to make either better money or better movies. I haven't figured out which one yet.
Also, the last thing that I watched was Doctor Strange. I think
the Marvels was the last movie that has come out.
The last movie I watched was Doctor Strange, and I was like the second one. I'm like, I think I'm out, bro. Like I think I'm out. Like you know what I mean? Like they're just gonna keep. I don't know. They're just gonna keep throwing these characters to the washing machine and pop them out, pop them out, pop them out, and it's like, nah. You gotta write a good story. Like you know what I mean? Like tell me something good.
We were having, online all day today in the last few days, especially because of Gail Simone's thing with Mark Millar, which she's actually resolved. There's been a comment.
What's that about, actually?
I don't really know all of it. She talks about what it was, and today after she spoke with Mark. So I haven't read it yet. I was going to jump in and read it because apparently a lot of clarification happened today. But the part about this is that the conversation, that one of the pieces of conversation that she had is that comics are still being made and they're still good. There is also some bad, as there always has been. There's always been good and bad comics. Just because what I like might not be what you like doesn't mean that what they like isn't worthy of conversation or isn't worth being made. So this idea that you can't make good movies or can't make good comics is ridiculous because it's still being made and it's still being written by good writers, it's still being drawn by good artists, and movies are still getting made that are entertaining. This may not be certain people's cup of tea. Like I watched the Marvels. My friend hated it. I liked it. I was entertained. I guess my barometer for what's good and bad is different than his. But for me, if I can sit there and spend some money, be entertained, and it was worth my money, I'm fine. But other people want to be taken away. They want to have an Oscar experience. They want more than that's what's being presented, and that's always a problem for me. I don't
more.
Right, more than more.
It's also a problem. It's also a problem if people are coming in with preconceptions of what they want to see. If they already know the story from a comic, then they are already biased one way or another. So it is more difficult to actually satisfy somebody's appetite for a certain character. And I
Sure.
think that's part of the reason why I didn't watch the Mighty Thor thing with the Jane Foster character, because I love the Jason Aaron comic run of the Mighty Thor. I read it specifically when I had breast cancer, so it had personal meaning to me. And I did not want to watch a whole raunchy thing about it necessarily, even although I love the actors in it and everything. I just didn't want to watch it, you know.
And
So
that's
that was just my
perfectly
personal
acceptable.
choice. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't.
going on.
I know that other people really liked it. I know that other people really enjoyed it, and that's fine. You know, in that case, opinions on whether you like or don't like something are perfectly valid. You don't really have to state a specific reason why you like something or you don't. Either enjoy it or you don't, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. All right,
All right,
let's
I
move
think
on
I
a
have to
little bit.
bow out though. I think I have to bow out though. I still have a couple of things to do. I'm actually
Connie, we enjoyed having you
I
on,
have
and
been.
maybe some. Go ahead.
I was just
Jason,
gonna
what's
say
up?
I'm finishing one of the pages probably tonight. So I'm doing the last page and then going back to 5 and 7, which is gonna be a splash page. Yay! And Napua has already seen
Yay!
the sketches of it, so that's awesome. That's fun.
We
Okay,
appreciate you
nice
joining
being
us.
with you guys.
We look
Thank you for
forward
having me.
to conversing with you in the future.
I'm looking forward to it too. Bye, guys.
Bye, Connie.
Dell, the ever questioning. As
I
an
know.
artist, have y'all ever tried to draw a same character using different ways to draw? Absolutely. I mean, that's a. I'm not going to say it's a silly question, but the answer is, of course, we have. I draw in pencil and ink. I paint with oils. I paint in acrylics. I paint in watercolor. I've sculpted. As an artist, I like to experiment with everything possible, and I enjoy all of it, and I will continue to do so. So I've done an oil painting of Wolverine. I have an acrylic painting of some other characters. So yeah, no, it's different mediums doesn't really matter to most artists. It's just another way of doing it, and a lot of us use the different mediums as ways of entertaining ourselves. We get bored of one way and we move on to the next medium, just to try it out for a while to get something different. So yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. On our list of conversation points, the next thing on our list is a quote, something with regards to Socratic wisdom. Do you know who Socrates was, everyone? Socrates was a Greek philosopher. And one of the quotes I like from him, or that is attributed to him, is something called that says, "What we thought we knew, we know not. The more we learn, the more acutely we become aware of our own ignorance." All right, simple words. Whatever you think you know, you don't really know. And the more you learn about whatever it is you're learning, the more you realize you don't know nothing, right? This was made completely clear to me when I started working at Wildstorm. I think I've mentioned this before, but it was such a huge moment for me. It's a light went off. My manager, then executive at Wildstorm, John Nee, who's now the president of Marvel Comics. He asked me once, as I went into his office, he asked me, "So, Kanila, do you know what you don't know yet?" And the first time he asked, I had no clue. I had no idea. You know what? I don't know. I'm so new at this, I don't know nothing. 6 months later, he asked me the same question. He said, "You know what you don't know?" And my answer, before even seeing this, I didn't even know that this quote existed. My answer was, I don't know what I don't know yet, but I realize that as the more I'm learning, I've got so much more to learn. There's just so much out there to learn. And I think that's an interesting topic, especially in comics, because I mean, there's so much information that we can get from different artists, from books, and from each other. I just find it a very interesting commentary on just learning in general. What do you guys think about this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I have nothing to say about it, but
Napua, do you have any commentary on that?
Just that I do agree. I'm constantly learning, and I think that's a big part of the fun and the challenge for me is knowing that, I don't really know much about how to do this, and learning how to do it or how not to do it is part of the fun for me.
It's interesting you say how not to do it. That's actually an interesting point. I often refer to this quote from that I heard from Jack Kirby. It's learn what you don't need to draw. I mean, you don't have to fill your page up. You have to learn what you need to draw, but you also should learn what you don't need to draw so that you can work faster. And falls right in with what you're talking about.
this is from my friend Jason. As an artist, you never stop learning. You can halt your progress by choosing to not learn more, but it's never mastered. Yep. Yeah. I think we always learn. You always just taking in information, and it's just. I just think we as human beings are just wired that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We always be learning and evolving and growing and just improving, constantly improving. And if I think hey Dan, I'm retraining myself to draw characters. There you go. And we got Swan over here. What was your most daunting commission or project that you had worked on? We got a lot of questions tonight. Yours should be interesting, Kanila, because you had worked with like Wildstorm and all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at a certain point when it comes to color, the only daunting thing you have is either time frames or body of work, meaning you're either working on a whole lot of stuff or you have to work really fast in order to get something done. For probably the most daunting work job that I did was I was doing, in fact, I was working on the Wonder Woman comic book that I did, that Gail Simone wrote. It was Wonder Woman Series 3, issue 25.
Okay.
And they gave me less than a week to color it.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was just, they handed me black and white. They didn't even get it wasn't flatted. They just dropped an entire book on me. I have 22 pages of a book. I need them done in a week. I'm like, okay. So, as often happens, because we are the colorists and we're the last creative step on the rung that can work, I jumped in and I did it. I got it done with seconds to spare. And so that was 22 pages. That equals 4 pages a day minimum. But I couldn't start off with doing 4 pages. I had the very first page I did was 1 day because I had to get all the files in. I had to prep them. I had to send them to my flatter. I had to keep certain pages for myself. I had to flat those pages, and then I could color a page. So that was a nightmare, and it's normal in comics to have nightmares like that. It happens all the time. Zoom in. That was mine. DJ, what do you got?
What was the question again? Sorry.
What's the most daunting commission
worked on? Daunting. I don't know. They're all daunting to me. No.
Yeah, right. They're all daunting to you.
All daunting to me. I don't know. I think for me, the most daunting thing is Exilian because I doing the writing for that, and it's like it's not an art thing, but it's like I'm not good at writing. Like you know what I mean? I don't know how that goes. So I just flying blind in that department. So it's not in the drawing department that I get the problems. I get the problems in the writing department because I'm not a writer first. You know what I mean? Per se.
Per se,
I'm an artist by trade. You know, like I can. Even if the thing is not the greatest, you know what I mean. At least I'm at home drawing, so I guess okay. So drawing wise would have to be. It's always the thing that is daunting to me is the stuff that I only draw. Like before, I never know how to tell people no. So anybody would ask me for stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, and I hate doing them. You know what I mean? And it's the
Oh
worst.
yeah.
Like my cousin would ask me for do like this like coat of arms kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it was
Yeah.
the most flat, boringest thing I ever did. Like you know what I mean? And then like it's always that kind of stuff. It's not comics. It's like people ask me for do logo work, and I don't know why non-art people think that when you draw everybody do logos. Like you know what I mean? It's like I hate. I mean I'll do it on my own stuff, but I hate doing logos. Like I do not do logos. You get people asking me for work on like the decals for the trucks and all this kind of stuff, and it's like I no, not me. Like, and I do them. Like, I do them, and I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to give me business because they're my friends. You know what I mean? And I try to make good because I'm their friend. But in the end, none of us happy. Like, you know what I mean? In the end, they paid me the money for you know what I mean. They're trying to be nice. They're trying to give me business, which is what a good friend will do, right? They can give you
Yep.
business. But they're not giving me the business that I'm in business for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's close, but it's not close at all. Like you know what I mean? It's like you're giving me art, but I do comic book art. You know what I mean? I don't do like decals and logos and you know what I mean. I don't do that kind of stuff. I do comic book. If you give me one short story, yeah, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. You know what I mean? But when it comes to like logos and decals and that stuff that is not in my wheelhouse. You know what I mean? That's it. That's the stuff
I know
like.
perfectly what you mean. It's for me, it's always tattoo work. They want me to draw that tattoo. That's the worst. I hate doing tattoos because look, first of all, I'm not the one that's gonna tattoo it on your body. Some tattoo artist is, and they don't want to draw my stuff, they want to draw their stuff. So we'll ask whoever gonna have to get a tattoo to draw it for you. Second of all, if you don't ask me to do the tattoo, because I'm sorry, I'm not gonna deal with blood. I mean, I don't want to do it. It's just I don't care if you wear gloves. I still want to look at it. So no, I don't want to do it. So
Yeah.
and commissions are great and all, but really, like you said, I'd rather be drawing comics or coloring comics than doing commissions. Honestly.
Yeah. I know because I mean we were sitting at the show, and the best thing that was going was the comics. You know what I mean? I had all these prints. And how
Tell me
we
about
never
it.
saw one print. Like you know what I mean? We made the exclusive. I made good thing I never finished that out of print that we was gonna do that jam piece. Nobody would have bought that. I mean, people wanted the
Well,
box.
it might have been that affect of this particular con, right? Certain cons do better for certain things than they do others.
Daniel said he drew one 22-page book in 2 days for Boneyard Press. He inked it with a Sharpie. It's embarrassing work. But you still did them in 2 days, though.
Hey,
you still did
you get a
in 2
paycheck?
days.
Did you get a paycheck at the end? Because if you got a paycheck, I call that a success.
Yeah. Maybe Tiki did it all. And Voltron is a pretty. Oh yeah, I used to draw Voltron when I was like fourth grade because that was my favorite cartoon. It's like never no more, bro. I'm not drawing like when you become like you learn all your perspectives and all of that. It's like no, bro, I'm not doing this no more. When you're a kid, you just draw. Like nope, never no more. Unless somebody pay me, and you're gonna have to pay me good. Like that's one of them commissions that's gonna be on the high end. Like
Yeah, I don't.
All right.
Honestly, I don't get a whole lot of commissions in general. I mean, I don't know why. Just I don't. Sometimes you get people ask me to color stuff. Yeah, and that's no problem. I can do that in my sleep. So
Right. Yeah.
Juan, I completely agree with you. Drawing any Transformer is a daunting task to me.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm glad I got DJ to draw my comic because he can draw that mech very well. I don't want to.
Well, I made the mech up. I made the mech. It's broken down into shapes, and I know how to fake it like it's a complicated thing, but it's not in my mind, anyways.
Well,
And that's the secret.
That's a trick. That's a trick, right? That's
That's
you,
the trick.
you draw the way that you need to in order to make it work. Hey, there's on. Good. Maybe I could take a break from talking. I'm kidding.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Are you still sick?
I am. I'm coming over a fever. It's better.
Oh.
It's gotten better. I got sick Monday night. I went straight to work after the con.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you caught the con crud.
Probably. I
At least it's
caught
not
it.
COVID.
Yeah, no, I I went and tested it because like I got like the body ache, the fever, the cough, and the cold, so all of it all at once. And I was like, oh God, tested out negative. So I was like, all right, I'm just crapped out. But
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyways, we were talking about Napua's book, and we got way sidetracked. So I want to bring it back to Napua's book because that's the reason why we had him on.
yeah.
So Napua, what's the plan? Like, how you gonna get them out? You gonna self-publish and kickstart, or like, what's the deal? Like,
Self-published for Amazing, and then I think we're gonna try to do a Kickstarter after that. To try to make some money because we're doing it as a collaborative project, so none of us are getting paid. So hope to do a Kickstarter so we can at least get, Connie and Drew paid for their work and get the book out there, nationally to people who might be interested in Dracula.
That's Dracula,
that's
man.
hope. Yeah.
Public domain character.
I saw their pages. It's amazing. I love what like
page with the Catholic Church or the little church and all. Like, all right, they're going all out on this one. All right.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, Connie is like killing it with those backgrounds.
Oh yeah. She's great. Yeah. Yeah. No, like, and then I still gotta get back to you on my. I'm just so bunkered now. Yeah.
Yeah, On is doing a cover for me for Mysterious Things #2.
Oh, I remember Mysterious Things. Yeah, you still going with that?
Yeah, awesome. It's been 5 years since the first one.
Oh, I got a friend. His name is. Oh, did you meet Sean? Did Sean get in touch with you? Oh, Sean loves. He's crazy for what's the thing?
Genies.
Crazy. He's always sending me genie pics inside his genie drawings.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. All right. Where are we on this project thing? So how many 22 pages you guys book?
No, we're doing a mini comic, 12 pages.
12
and we're gonna publish it Ashcan.
Oh, Jason says hi. Jason Monroe says hi. How's it?
Hi.
How are you?
Hawaii.
Sorry, this is a bad conversation show because we suck. Yeah, Kanila.
Well, if you want to sit and draw, and then we gotta also talk at the same time. So
are we on like? How far did we make it through the question list? I'm so bad.
We have not got to.
My questions got deleted. I don't have it. Like.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, and you didn't. I don't know that did you send them to me?
What? Oh, my set of questions. I didn't get to it. Oh, I'm so bad.
Oh yeah. Can you resend me the list?
I sent it to you via text just before.
I know, but it got deleted for some reason.
Wait, I got you. Hold on.
I gotta I don't know why, but some stuff gets deleted off my phone.
That's called user error.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's the second time I hear that this week.
Okay.
I couldn't work on my keyboard at work.
Is the problem between your keyboard and the back of your chair?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
What digital art programs do you guys use and why?
Okay. I use Photoshop to color. Period. Full stop. Because I've been doing it for 25 years or more, and I know it like the back of my hand, right? So I continue to use it. I know how to make the colors look the way I want to, and I don't really think about it anymore. When it comes to drawing, I have used Procreate and Clip Studio Paint recently, and I really like the way that they lend themselves to drawing, specifically Clip Studio Paint. Drawing, I'm learning to do inking, as you can see I'm working on it right now, to teach myself how to use the program to do it. I have been inking in Procreate in the past, but neither one of them are that intuitive for me with regards to color. Now, I have painted with with Clip Studio Paint. Let me try to open one up here. I can show you. I've been doing it quite a bit, actually, and I'll show a couple of things that I've actually painted here. There's this one. This is a painting I did in Clip Studio Paint. It's based on a photograph, but because it's a Clip Studio Paint, I can export a video of it, and I really enjoy it. Another couple of things I've done recently. Here's another one. Again, using a different technique. This one is the first digital painting I did in Clip Studio Paint, and I was experimenting with different tools to try to get effects that I liked. And the second painting, this is the second one I did, and I learned more about the tools and how to make them work the way I wanted to, which is why I honestly like this way that this one turned out.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I've also tried to start to do, like, there is a painting that I know is an AI painting, but I wanted to see how they got some of the effects. So that's where I started with this one. I tried to copy this painting that I saw, and then I started practicing with it. It just seemed too slow to do it the way that I was doing it, so I stopped and I started working on something else. Recently, I tried to do here. This is one of the first paintings. Now, ignore how deformed this image looks. You got to look at little things, though. Like, I really like the way the nose turned out and the way I've approached some of the strokes. With Clip Studio Paint is the closest thing that I've seen digitally that mimics traditional media. It's quite stunning at how well it does it, actually. Photoshop has always had the hardest time of trying to mimic traditional media because it looks purely digital when you're doing it in Photoshop. Whereas in Clip Studio Paint, it looks more natural. Like I was trying to work on a cover for Napua's book, and this is something I started. I didn't really like it. I mean, there are things about it that was cool, but it's not working. So I dumped it and I started working on something else. But again, I'm still getting the feel for how this works, and eventually I'll figure it out. Like my favorite part is that I could do that building in the background there. I dug how that turned out. So I'll probably do things in similar effects in different ways. But I have been enjoying Clip Studio Paint. I have used Procreate in the past, but when it comes to color, I'm only using Photoshop. Next, Napua, what about you? What do you use digitally? What kind of digital program?
Photoshop.
Is that it?
Only Photoshop, yeah.
Okay.
My old mouse and just Photoshop CS6, and that's it.
Wow. Yeah. My favorite version of Photoshop is Photoshop 5.5 myself. But,
Oh, that was the best for brushes.
well, 5.5, I'm not talking about the original, not even the CS version. It was Adobe 5.5. It was the pre-CS version. Because that was the version where they just started trying to incorporate web functionality into Photoshop, and they still had all the original art functionality. But as Photoshop has grown over the last years, they keep adding more and more things, and more things start failing. I mean, like, they don't support other things. They don't develop other things. So it's a little annoying that they're starting to do that, or been doing that for years, actually.
Photoshop Element 8.
Hey, it's free or it's inexpensive. Yes. I don't blame you.
It comes with my bamboo tablet, but other than
absolutely,
that, I think I used Clip or something like that before that, or
Clip Studio,
Kick something art. It's free because like I don't really use digital programs. A lot of my works are traditional, right? So like I had to learn to use. Yeah, I had to learn to use like Photoshop. I learned it back in high school and all that. It's like the basics. So I just make do with whatever program I found online just so I can touch up, makes it so that it fits the sizing and then the DPI that is needed in the format that's needed for work. So I just send it off like that. That's basically all I use them for.
All right.
What do you use, DJ?
I use Clip Studio Paint. I'm loving Clip Studio Paint right now because they have the G Pen and the real G Pen. But I've also used Clip Studio Paint, and I've also used what's the other one? Procreate, and I've done full comics in both of them, like drawn full issues in both. But oh man, drawing in inking actually, I still hate drawing on the tablet. I still gotta draw on paper, so I'll draw like this, and then ink them in. You know, I'll draw like this and then ink them digitally. If I not, well, I'll even ink regularly too. But I've done both Clip Studio and Procreate, and I like both. I like Clip Studio for drawing, for inking, and I like Procreate for messing around. Procreate is pretty and Procreate wasn't good like what's the word? Like on good jumping on point, like on good training wheels kind of program for me transition from drawing by hand to digital, you know what I mean? And then after a while it's like, okay, this is a little bit too simple, too simplified, so you gotta move on, you know what I mean? So especially when you need the I don't know what the word is, complexity. We need the complexity of the other things. All right. Shall we move on? Let's move on.
Sure.
I like this guy. I like to draw with the blood of my enemies. Don't we all?
Fantastic.
Phantasmagoria.
Fantastic. All right. So moving on. You want to do the scanning thing, or you want to talk about our top 5?
Let's do top 5 first.
Okay, let's do top 5.
Crack.
Okay.
Because I also want to know why they're in your top 5.
Okay, so who do you want to go first?
I know what DJ. I haven't heard what On's top 5 movies are. What are your top 5 movies, On?
Let me guess. Dirty Dancing. No.
Don't say Frozen, okay?
We took 2 already. No. Do you need time to think about it?
Okay, I'll go first then.
Okay.
Private chat. Oh, I got a private chat. Oh, all right. My 5 favorite movies. Now, I basically consider these the movies where when they show up on television, I'm watching them. And a couple of these movies I have to own. Like sometimes I move and I lose a movie or here and there, but I have to own them. My movies are Boondock Saints. If I don't own this movie, I already own this movie on Amazon, so it goes everywhere I go. Kingdom of Heaven, which is the movie about the Crusades in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
The 13th Warrior.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas. Great movie. Starship Troopers.
Yep.
That is just a guilty pleasure. I love killing bugs and Marines, and yes, there's a couple of nudie scenes, which okay, fine. And then the last.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
The last one actually was because of DJ's list, and I'm like, oh, that's a great one, and I got to put it in. And I think it's probably the oddest one of my group, and well, it really isn't because I'm not a real huge Tom Cruise fan, but the movie is The Last Samurai, and I like it because it's got some great cultural information in it, and Tom isn't playing Tom; he's playing a different character, which he doesn't do a lot of the time. He usually plays characters that are all Tom, but this one he had to do different stuff, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
Those are my 5 movies where if they show up on TV, I'm watching them.
Yeah. It's funny you said Starship Troopers because that's the inspiration that I drew from when I created the what are we calling these bugs that we're drawing?
The Orax.
The Orax. So when I was like, oh, these bugs, we're gonna draw these bugs. I'm like, first thing that came to mind was like those, when they stabbed Rico through the leg with their bug legs. I was like, oh yeah, this is I can.
Now that you say that, the regular Orax look just like the little crawly ones that were on the ground, the ones that look like roaches, and I totally see it now. And then, and I dig it because Starship Troopers is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
What about you, Napua? Do you have some favorite movies?
I have one I think is one of DJ's favorites, Fellowship of the Ring.
That's my number
big
one.
Tolkien fan, and it's my favorite of the trilogy and better than the Hobbit movies. It's most like the book. Just the visuals are so beautiful. The music is so good.
Cool.
Yeah, that's definitely top 5. Also Aliens 2.
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one too. Oh, it makes me rethink my list. Oh man, so much good ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that strong female character of Sigourney Weaver and just bug hunting, like Starship Troopers. They make that joke all the time. Love that movie. I also like Gone with the Wind.
Oh, I never saw that.
Very, very close to the book, which I appreciate.
Oh, I'm not gonna read it.
One.
It's just really hard when you're a book fan to find a movie adaptation that does the book justice. And because usually they cut things out or they'll change things. And in my opinion, the movie Gone with the Wind is very, very similar to the book. So as a book fan, I really like that.
Yeah. It was a high school honors class, English honors class criteria for us to read and also watch that. So it was really good. I like that.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really have too many other favorite. Like Kanila said, if it's on TV, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to watch it, or I have to own it. I think those are probably my top 3.
Melon?
What is it? Jabong. That's what you're trying to make. What's a jabong? Jabong. Oh, that big grapefruit thing. Yeah, okay.
That's the jabong? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that on?
Yeah, I have some jabong candy right here.
Oh, you have a jabong candy.
Yeah. So.
Oh, she does want to say.
Yeah.
Good for diet.
All right.
It helps with digestive. I think my 5 top of it that always stick with me. This is from high school time. They made us watch, but I'm glad they did. Was Empire of the Sun, and this was about like pretty much during the time that America or Japan was kind of launching its kamikaze attack toward America, and there's some family, British and like foreign families and Americans who are stuck over in Japan at that time, and they all get put in one camp, right? And this one kid was played by Ben Affleck, I think.
Christian Bale.
Great. Christian Bale. Sorry, wrong guy, wrong white guy. Sorry, but anyways, he that one was like pretty emotional, but then I would say it's pretty true to the time. What went on, and I grew up reading because my family was stationed over in Korea, so we were in that military environment. And we get exposed to a lot of different stories like that to make us aware of what went on during the war from a different perspective. And that one was it broadened a lot of our vision of like what went on. And I think our high school teachers did a great job with that. And then like you, I also like Gone with the Wind. A lot of innuendos in those storylines, like simple thing as smoking. I never understood that, and my teacher had to kind of explain it. And considering us mature audience, to take that in. Then the ending with the ending was with the crocodile. I was like, oh, that kept in my mind. That, and then I'm a sucker for anything that was Charlie Chaplin. Anything that's Charlie Chaplin, I get sucked into
Folks,
that.
the time. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. On the time that I have to take a break, we're having family dinner because it's the last time that we're going to be together in at the end of the year. So I got to go spend about half an hour with the family. I will be back. Enjoy your conversation. DJ, you're in charge. Okay.
Sorry.
Make him behave. Make him behave.
I'll bark less.
I'll talk to you guys. I'll come back in a little while. Okay.
I'm so sorry. You know how like they have that stereotypical like all Asian look the same. It's the reverse for me. I grew up in Asia, and like a lot of people look the same to me from different races.
No racist somehow or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's humans. It's be real. All right, my top 5 is. I know I get them all. Fellowship of the Ring. What else I got? Troy with the you know which one? With Brad Pitt and I forget the other guy. But that's if I see Troy on, I will stop right in front of the TV and be like, okay, we're gonna finish this movie now. Then they get The Mummy Returns. It could be The Mummy or The Mummy Returns. Like I don't know what it is about that movie, but The Mummy Returns, the pace. I love the pace of that movie. It's one scene after another scene. It's all good scenes. Like it's always every scene is entertaining. It's funny. It's action. It's something's going on. But yeah. Then the next one I got is Last Samurai, which we talked about already. And then my number 5 is Remember the Titans. I don't know if you guys into football movies and all of that, but Remember the Titans is one of my favorite movies. All right, moving on. Oh, you have to go at the worstest time. Oh yeah, Eric Bana. Eric Bana is the one. All right. Sorry. What are you working on now? Are you working on something? I mean, not right now, but like, what's the project are you working on right now?
I'm working on dinner, and once in a while I might pop in and out just because I have a sneezing fit that comes on. So bear with me.
That's okay.
I've been dead like the last few days I've just been dead. But I have a lot I'm working on. I have to catch up on the Funko stuff because there's a few events coming up. I have a small fair I'm doing at my cousin's bank. That's what I did this morning. I have to do tomorrow, and then Super Saturday on Saturday, 9 to 9. You're on Island. I'll be at those places, and then I gotta finish up Napua stuff. I gotta continue with Uncle Canila's project, the Macabre High School, and then Mysterious Things #2. And then I got light novel page break. I gotta get that too. There are 5 pages I gotta get done. After that, it's just catching up on commission and then trying to crank out my story because I finished her at this point. I'm just way behind for anything released by Amazing Con, but I'll do my best.
Oh yeah. So you're going to Amazing, right?
Huh?
Napua, you're going to Amazing.
Yes.
All right. Oh, that's right. That's what you get him. You get him. You know what? Like I find that stuff like the most fun, like time pressure for have is just cranking out for the con. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cranking the book out and making sure it's ready for the con.
Yep.
And I don't know if I can make this con honestly, but I'm gonna try.
Make sure you take your vitamin C.
And zinc.
and zinc. Anything. Just keep up with your pills.
Yeah, I actually just went to Japan last month and I got COVID while I was in Japan, and that really sucked. But I mean, it could have been worse. You know, I had the vaccination, so it wasn't really that bad. I mean, not as bad as it could have been.
But you got good yuan yen.
It was really good.
I work with currency, so I know. So yeah, it's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what's her name? Reiko. Oh man.
Is she in Comic Jam?
I think she used to be. She translated Kukui Project into Japanese.
Oh, I met her when she was talking to Todd at
That's the one.
Honolulu Comic Con several years ago, I think.
Right.
I don't know her, but I did meet her.
Oh, I figured. I don't know. You know, because you guys live on the same island. Figure you guys know kind of. In the comics community over there's everywhere is pretty small. Like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we gonna bump into each other sooner or later. Sooner or later.
There's a lot of new comics that are coming up. Like Ounce Comics. They've been doing some comic release parties at other realms. I think they have like 3 or 4 books out.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of new up and coming comics groups coming up.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's what we wanted. That's what we needed actually.
Yeah.
We get company, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Company and friendly competition is always good.
I don't know if you guys brought this up earlier on about not a lot of people are not aware of. I call it a treasure trove of talents on this island. And
yeah.
I think I popped in earlier and my computer crapped out. So hopefully you guys didn't hear me going fuck. But that happened. I was like, I'm finally on and my computer crapped out. So it took a bit. So sorry about that. But yeah, no, like I hopped in when you guys also like mentioned like something about like when people know like someone's nice, they gravitate to wanting to work with them or sometimes take advantage of them too. So this is what I kind of picked up when I went traveling last year too, is that I grew a fonder appreciation of the island in general and the talent that we have here. And when I went to Maui, the folks that I met, they're so sweet, and the talent even over there in Maui, it's like so amazing. Like I saw so many artists, their work, like Polly's and like Terrence and oh my god, like the girl next to me, Bailey, like their works are amazing, and
Yeah.
like I grew up on the appreciation for the locals here, and the atmosphere you get on the islands, it's different from the mainland. When I went traveling, like no dish to them all, but like they don't have the family feeling, the ohana feeling, the the strong collaborative and supportive
Yeah.
um
That's what it
community
is.
that we have here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's different. Like, so when I went to mainland, I was like, I feel so lonely. Everything is like so hustle bustle, and that's when you get to a city like Cali, and that's how people kind of are over there. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. It's just I prefer it here. And also that comes with the territory of I've overheard certain people like kind of you know taking advantage of that and thinking locals don't know no better as well. And so they'll come here and saying like, oh, they don't get this, they're craving for this and that, and kind of abuse that, versus kind of encourage or bringing light to the world, the locals' talent. Hence, I've told DJ and a couple folks already, I have a passion project of mine, which is to develop a documentary channel that highlights individual artists here, and their story, and just dig into the question that people always have is what goes on in an artist's mind. And I think that can follow and brings to light like how we grew up here, each and every one of us, and like how that translate into our art. Also, in the meantime, teaching the world about the things that we grew up with. So that's what I
Yeah.
want to do. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's what I remember. And then just seeing like more people like uh oh, Drina Robbins and um my mind is blur right now. What was her name? Gail Simone.
Gail.
Gail.
Yeah.
Just seeing them recognizing the talents that we have, giving shout out to Chris' work, and then giving shout and like inviting Mog and Connie on stage with them. I was like, that's how you do it. Yeah, like we have so much here. So like bring the world to see this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I like. And yeah, and Leiji asked what was my best moment at my first Maui Comic Con. Oh, there's so many moments, and it's all very much like um intimate moments with different people. It's like I love that I get to spend my booth mates were what you call that, Kanila and DJ here, so it was fun. Like I can hear them from miles away, and it's fun. They're very festive. Kanila was there with his apron and his hat, his coffee shop, what you call that, tea, and then his little coffee. It's just fun having people you can interact like that, and of course all around us, like just bonding with everyone. It's always the best part of any con is to network and talk and get to know people, and then of course like. I thanks to Leiji here, I also got to pull out some time and like bring my work up and like talk to Steve Lealoha. I got his books too, so I got like a good amount of time. It felt like an hour I spent with him at least talking to him and just learning from him what to do, what not to do. This is my reminder to like work more on thumbnails, spend more time on thumbnails and plan out. And I more or less got lesson from uh Rick Lenardi as well. And I think Mr. Lenardi probably is the the only person to this date that have given me like very practical advice that I can put straight to practice. And thanks to him, like I went home like the moment I got a chance, like I cut out my little card and like paste it into my book and start practicing the size that he recommended. So it's always great to make that kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
but yeah.
Talk, talking
Go
to
ahead.
Rick was awesome.
It was. It was. He is such a nice gentleman. Like, um, he even waited in the car, while like she dropped me and Camilla off at the airport, and he was just like trying to help. I was like, oh, thank you. He didn't have to do that, but thank you. So that was nice. Oh, and we can't forget the Krispy Kreme.
Oh yeah.
The moment they pick us up, or like she pick us up from the airport, and she mentioned like, oh, there's the Krispy Kreme that we're gonna stop by. I was like, what did you say, Krispy Kreme? I was just excited. I bought extra. I just didn't know how, but then I was like, I have a feeling I'll have extra need for these extra ones. So like by the end, when we ended up on the airplane, that was kind of cool too, because I've never been on an airplane full of artists before. So I ended up on the same plane as Sam, Art, Mark, Rusty. Oh, I got to bond with Rusty too. He was so sweet. Yeah, he is such a fun one.
The first time we went to Maui Comic Con, I would stay with Sam, Art, and Mark. And it was so funny because so I got in Saturday morning. They was there Friday night, and then so they already had the room. I jump in the room with them. So so they come pick me up from the airport. So I stay all excited, you know me, and I get all excited. I get like real handsy, yeah. So freaking, I jump inside a car, like shake hand everybody like that. I jump inside a car. What's his name? Art. Art just opened up on. And I see sitting right behind Art inside his chair, inside the chair behind him. And I grab Art and I start shaking Art. I just start shaking him like that. And he just open his soda and start drinking them like this. And I never know because I stay in the back and I can only see the back of his head. So I say, yeah, I say shaking him like this. I say shaking his soda while I shaking him. And he got a hold with his face. And I think it was Marcus. So Sam next, I think Mark is driving, and Sam is driving. Mark next to me, so Mark can see the whole thing, and he's still in it shaking, and it's just shaking him from the back. And so Mark is telling me, "Bro, stop! He goes soda. Like this, you know what I mean?" I just chasing up like that. So the thing so the minute I stop, the thing just all over the floor. So funny.
I could just imagine his face. Oh, oh my
every
god!
every time I see Art, I shake him like I grab him and I shake him up.
You probably scarred him. Oh my god! Oh my god! You know what? When you both ever see Mark go, right? Just ask him. I don't know if we're supposed to say on it, but just ask him about his best con story. Just ask him for the best convention story, and he has one really good one. Like I don't think anyone can top it.
Yeah.
And then just ask him that.
Oh, we gotta have him. We gotta have him on. Eventually, we get to everybody. We'll bring him on the show. You know what I mean?
Just ask him. He get one good story, and he has the best attitude. I miss them. But no, just getting to spend that little moment, kind of bonding with everyone, and while waiting for the plane and stuff. I got Pancho on there. Got Bert for some reason was there too. And you know what? I also love that like there are folks here on Oahu that would just fly over to any island any time that there's a con or something going on just to support. Right. I was like, Jason Yada was, always going, and then what you call that? Bert is always going.
Reach back. No, Jason was. I never mind you. I keep thinking that's Diane's son. Diane Masaki. I was like, hey, where your modesty?
Oh, Brett too. Brett was there.
Jason, he's small, huh? You know what I mean? That's a small guy, yeah?
Oh my god.
Thin little wrist, yeah? So I thought, hey, where your modesty? All them guys start laughing at me, read them. It's like, that's not his model. I was like, that's your model now. Now, from now on, that's your model.
You're so mean. Oh my god.
That's your model now.
Oh my god.
Guys. Hey, good flavor days.
Yeah, Brett was also he made it to MauiCon. Yeah, like
Right, yeah.
that's
It's
amazing.
like that with before when I had Hawaii Con was like that too. They would come over for Hawaii Con too. Yeah. Hey, Juanita. Speaking of Hawaii Con, Juanita, where's that Brian? I don't know which one that is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want you're gonna hit the name. But yeah, no, it's just I had a good time over there. Oh man, and then I picked up like some nice Funkos over there. Just
Oh,
cause.
nice.
No, I
Oh,
picked
that's the regret I had. I never buy nothing. Like
yeah.
I was
Oh
so I had to leave early on Sunday. You know what I mean?
no,
So
I feel bad I didn't get to like say bye to you. I turned over and you're gone. I was like, oh, I feel bad I didn't go say bye.
plain, yeah. But I
Yeah.
introduced myself to your mom though.
No,
Your
she's
mom.
my mom. she's she's having a blast. Like everyone comes over, just like hi On's mom, hi On's mom. It's like she's like a little spectacle for everyone to see. I was like, I should just give you like a little sign for autograph, 110. But yeah, no, she's enjoying it. Thank you for like taking care of her too. I know I kept on ditching her to like run around.
Oh, trust me, it's weird because when you table with somebody, you understand what kind of con person they are. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So some
yeah.
people is they gotta go everywhere, boop, 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 and then you get the people like me. I'll just plant right at my desk because I usually get like bombarded, like you know what I mean, between
Yeah.
like selling and drawing and commissions and all of that. So I usually just I don't even move. Like if I go move, like it's on purpose. Like I purposely gotta get up for go. Maybe I like talk to somebody or I like meet somebody. Like you know what I mean. But most time I rather be
There. Yeah.
close to the table. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Unless I get
Well,
somebody with me that can watch the table, then you know what I mean.
yeah.
Then I can move about. You know what I mean. But if it's just me, then I just plant myself at the table. But it's funny because I almost gone half the time. I was like, ooh, you lucky. You can have like it's fun. Like it's fun when you.
Even without my mom, I I still do that. I found out quickly when I went traveling last year. I would just like find a way to secure my stuff, like important stuff, right? And then I love having like making friends with my neighbors. They've been always been awesome so far. Like knock on wood, I've had like really good neighbors, and we always watch out for each other. Yeah, it's my mom, but then people like to keep her like my sister, keep her younger. And yeah, thank you, Amy. And whenever you can, I would love to see that video. But yeah, no, it's like I found out quickly that I can't do commission at my table, not during cons. I'm so busy like talking, and I bring my portfolio of work, just to show people like this is how my brain thinks. This is how it comes from, a draft to the finished product, and this is how it works. Because I I learned this when I first started. Is that as an artist, sometimes you need to educate your audience, and a lot of times you get just the general public. They don't know nothing better. They go look for big names or whatever, right? But more than not, they appreciate learning and knowing, the step by step, and they come to appreciate the work more when they are educated or given more a context to what they're investing their time into. So that's why I spend a lot of time at the con connecting and talking to people and learning, getting to know people in general. Like some of my customers become like good buddy of mine. I text and like some I moved to Vegas. I was like, when I get there, I'll hit you up for some drinks. Because I know they're good mixer, right? So I was like, hey, we can hang. But then it's just nice meeting people. That's what the cons are about. Is what I've learned from a lot of folks like Camilla, right? It's all about what comes after from it. It's all the connection you make and what you gain from it in terms of like what you know. Of course, like at the same time as a young artist, and if your job is solely based on this career, you do need to have a business mind. So make your overhead and everything, have your baseline. Try to make that and plan for that. And then after that, it's a breeze. Then you can do the, okay, I'm off running around, and that's what
Now
I
it's time
try
for
to do.
shopping.
Yeah, it's time for shopping. It's time for chitter chatter. And just go nuts. But that's what I've learned to do. But I've learned that I can't sit and do commission right there because I, with my own kind of work, I like to take my time and I rather arrange shipping with people. And I know how to do the shipping well enough now, I know ways where it can also save people's costs. And I find that a lot of people who are, at least with my work, they're willing to wait for, the quality. So yeah, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you got commissions from the con.
not, I have commission to catch up that I was supposed to
Oh,
bring to
you
the con,
already
but I
had.
didn't find them. Yeah, I didn't find them this year though. I think that they might have not been able to make it, but I have their contact. Good night, Brett. Thanks for stopping by.
That Brett. All right,
Yeah.
let me go back to the questions. So
Question.
oh no, we did them all already. Socratic wisdom, sure. Oh,
So are you doing next year in Napua? Maui?
Amazing. Maui, I definitely want to. I wanted to come this past year, but it was too close to my Japan trip. So, and plus I ended up getting COVID anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to go. But definitely want to go next year.
Oh, that's the one thing. Like Maui, by far, has been like, I love all the cons so far, but and like I love the work that everyone puts into it. But I must say, Maui is the only con that I felt like so far that is truly by the local for the local, right?
Yeah.
And I see the work that they put into it tirelessly, and it's just the atmosphere there is just different. It's like, yeah, it's just like one little neighborhood. Everyone gets together and like everyone takes care of each other, and the people that pass by, it's like the conversation was just chill, relaxed, and people really appreciate and take their time to look at stuff, right? And more than that, it's like even the guests, right? The guests that they brought in, I didn't know who they were. Just kind of like, they're different. They got lace around their neck. I'm not sure who they are. And like Steve Le'eloha was standing there the whole time, and I'm just over here like catching up on you and just like, and then later I just put two and two together. I was like, ah, he looks a bit Hawaiian. Maybe they're related. And I was like, oh. But like the way that everyone was just relaxed and just enjoying it, I was like, I don't
yeah,
really find that any other con.
yeah. Well, that's Alika and the guys over there. Like, you know what I mean? It's the people. It's the people
Yeah.
too. I mean, you get like Francine. She's always nice. Gannon. Format is always helpful. Kai
Yeah.
Kai every year he gonna come with his shirt, and he like everybody draw and sketch on him. Swan
Oh,
gonna
that
come with
was
that
him.
board where you like
Yeah.
he gonna get everybody on that giant clipboard. Kamiki taking care of everybody. Her husband Khalil. You know what I
Oh, yeah.
mean? Like, you know, with who else? Who else am I missing? Oh, Todd. Toddy. And then he just had another baby too, so cute. And his daughter, Pania, drew her first comic, 9 years old. 9 years old. I'm like, bruh, nobody better tell me tell me nothing about complaining about life, man. This 9-year-old girl was drawing comic and she got them published, but no tell me nothing. Don't tell me you cannot do this. Like, you know what I mean?
And then you know what? I did one fundraiser before, right? I have some leftover funds that I was tasked to look for a family, a suitable family with kids or children, right? So I didn't expect because I was keeping an eye out for that when I went there to meet and talk to people, right? I didn't expect to find one with among the artists there.
Wow.
And I would never expect that person, went through that because man, she showed up and she was so strong and she was doing so many projects for the community. And I didn't know she lost everything, and went through a lot, and so I went and she was taking care of us too. She was so helpful. And then I just like, when I found out that and I got more info on her, like even now she's actually putting it together a project to like uplift the community for this winter holiday. So yeah, definitely. I'm gonna donate some stuff there for
Oh,
the
yeah, let me know.
community, and then yeah,
Whatever. Like, I mean,
yeah,
like,
that'd be nice. Yeah, and we're gonna donate, and then I want the fund I have to go straight to her to help her family too. It's like you
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
fill your cup before you fill others, right? If you can't just be pouring from an empty cup.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that
Well, yeah,
was very wholesome to come out with
yeah,
that,
wholesome. That's a good word.
Yeah.
That's a good word that is like a bad word nowadays, but yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I got out of Maui too. Just the
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
yeah. People. And poor Alika. Alika was so like tired.
Yeah.
So, he was smashed because he do pretty much everything, right? Not everything, but you know what I mean. He doing so much
Yeah.
organization work. And so we get to the mixer at Kelly's, and everybody's like standing outside, and then the guy come outside and he tell us to come inside a restaurant. So you get like I don't know how many people had there, maybe 50 people. I don't know what 50 people look like, but whatever the number was. So we all go inside, and then the food is sitting out ready. Like you know what I mean. The thing is uncovered, but nobody like be the first one for eat. You know what I mean? Everybody's like like, oh, is it rude if we like you know what I mean? And then like so time going by and everybody looking at everybody. I mean, we talking stories, we're hanging out. So I start texting Alika because Alika had to just go home and shower and just take 5 for himself, right? So I text Alika, it's like, hey Alika, bro, the food is like out. Everybody's sitting down. They're all seating. You like me tell them for go eat, but I never like tell them, like you know what I mean, like just points, we don't know how, right? You know what I mean? So I call him up, I text him. But so he said, yeah, tell him go eat. So before I could get a microphone there, he's singing karaoke with. So before I hit the microphone, Francine stand up and she said, okay, everybody go eat. And then everybody went go eat. I was like, okay, right on. At least somebody from Maui would tell, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not from Maui. Like, you know what I mean? I don't feel like I go on say. Like, I won't guess, but I cool with them. Like, you know what I mean? So I go tell them, but you know what I mean? So that was this awesome. Oh, right here. Hey, Miss
Amazing.
Jet.
I would have been like, okay, elders first.
Yeah. And they literally brought all the kupuna later on. They all again brought them with the van. Said
Oh yeah.
right, you know what I
Oh,
mean? Yeah.
that's how we roll. It's just like all the
And they
kapuna.
always like, we better take care of them, man. You don't know when the last time they're gonna come over
Yep.
here,
Yeah.
Take care of them.
No,
Yeah,
it's just right because they take care of us. We take care of them now.
exactly. We take care of them.
Yeah.
She got lost. She got lost. I had to take her back. I
Oh
had to
God.
take her back to the side. I was like, don't worry. You're in the right place, Auntie. You're in the right place. All right. What dead
That is
silence is?
Kanila coming
Silence.
back.
Kanila.
Not sure. Hold on, my family
Kanila.
has a little crisis. I'll be right back. I gotta deal with some crisis. Family is losing shit. Hold on. I haven't caught a break. I'll be right back. Hold on.
I'll hide this. All right, Napua. Awkward silence is just me and you now. Awkward silences.
So I want to know more about this book that you're working on with Kanila. He's doing the writing. Hey, just asking about your guys' book.
Headphones back on.
It's called AD Guns, After Destruction or After Death Guns. And I've been pitching it like a post-apocalyptic action shooter adventure story with giant mechs, giant bugs, and a lot of guns.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a couple of twists that you probably won't see coming.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But in my mind, I'm using like his Starship Troopers, little bit Mad Max, like Fury Road. You know what I mean? Just for the backgrounds. A little bit of because it's me, a little bit of Battle Chasers. You know.
I don't see any problems with that.
I don't see it either, but I'm just saying.
All right. Sorry. We had family dinner. I have a full belly of Chinese food. And I can go back to talking.
All right.
Yay.
Okay, good. Because I ran out of... We exhausted all the subjects.
Good. Now, production notes.
Okay.
I was very interested to that there's a lot of people, especially in Hawaii, in the comics industry or the comic scene, the local creators, that don't know a whole lot about the proper way to both scan and save files, why we do things a certain way, why we should do things a certain way, the differences between compression styles, and why, those of us who have worked in the graphic design industry, Napua, probably you as well, we know the difference of why someone would want to use a TIFF compressed file over, say, a JPEG file for images. And I want to go through some of that now. And I'm just gonna open up my my thing here that I started to use as put up on the screen. DJ, if you can, I'll present again.
All right.
All right.
Actually, I'm gonna sit in and listen for the rest of this because I don't think I can.
Feel free, just listen. Now, I didn't have time to put a presentation together about this. And what I will do is, after I'm done with this, I'll make these into slides and I'll put them up somewhere. Some of them are pretty important. Some of it has to do with dimensions and some of it has to do with scanning. So, first of all, let me see if I can zoom in here. First of all, documents. Comic book pages, the traditional comic book pages, are 6 3/4 inches wide by 10 and just under a half inch tall. So they're approximately 7 by 10.5. It's actually a little bit smaller than that, but I will post the exact dimensions, and that's a comic book at 100% size. So you could simply double it and work at 50%, which is what Jack Kirby used to do. He used to work on 12 by 20 paper, I believe, just really large paper at 20, so that's 50% bigger. So that when you reduce it, it's an easy 50%. But that's a really big, bulky piece of paper. At some point in the 60s, they decided that the tabloid size paper, 11 by 17, when reduced to 66%, actually fits the same profile. So an original comic art page today is 11 inches by 17 inches size, and panels are intended to fit within a 10 by 15 inch window. Again, the live inset area of that is 1/4. I don't know if anybody understands what I say about live inset. I'll show you. I can show you that on my.
Show me. You know, because I always feel like I'm drawing on the wrong lines. You know what I mean?
Right. So if you look at this, this is a page in Clip Studio Paint that I actually added in the dimensions for it. Okay. So this outer rim here, the very first line, that is 10 by 15 right here. Okay.
Okay. The outer
line. The outer line is 10 by 15. The paper itself is 11 by 17. Right. That first line in is what we call the trim. That between the edge and that line is where they're going to cut the paper after they've bound it together. The way comic books are made is they'll take a two-fold piece of paper, they'll fold it in half, they'll have it here, and then they'll actually just chomp on the corners of the top, the bottom, and the bottom and the right side, and that's how you have a square comic. They trim it. This box on the inside, this inner box, is what we call the live area.
Can you zoom in?
So, this corner line here, this one right here, that is that's the 10 by 15 frame.
Okay.
This line here indicates the trim between this line and this line. You may lose information, so you don't want to put important stuff here. But the same reason you don't want to put it here, because then there's a chance that it could shift in printing, or the trim can be too generous, or whatever. So what you want to do is this inner box here is called the live area. When you're drawing your book, all of the words, balloons, all of your characters, the buildings that are important could all be within that. Now, if you're going to do a bleed, you can absolutely go out beyond it for artwork that you want to be on the full bleed. But in general, important things should be within this inner square. And that inner square is approximately 9. Go ahead.
Let me ask you. Okay, so say you was to put panel one long horizontal panel over there. Where would the outside of that panel be? Would it be right on the live, or would you draw inside the live?
So the live area, I would never draw a line right on the live area here. I would always, I never put it on the trim. I would always put a panel border on the live where I can, right there. So if I'm going to do a full width panel, I'd always do it right around here, right? Now, that can change. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. In order to get a different look and feel on this page, I extended my my panel to be the entire width of the page, expecting there to be a bleed over here, because knowing that it's going to get trimmed there. But I wanted it to feel wide angle as we're looking at it, and by having the edges of the paper become the border, that makes it look wide angle, right? That's what my thought process is anyway. Where are we now? So, again, most times when you're doing, I prefer in comics to have white borders. Or so if I have panels here, and then like this,
right?
I don't want to have artwork in the gutter. I don't want to see. I don't like colors in the gutter. I like it white because I'm a firm believer in dead space, a place for your eyes to stop and rest and reset and move to the next panel. That's just comic pages in general. Now, for those of us who've been in graphic design before, they'll understand what pixel depth is. For some people, the idea of pixel depth is awkward. They don't understand it. When someone says 72 DPI or 300 DPI or 600 DPI, what that means is in 1 square inch, 1 square inch with the size of my thumb, there are that many dots on that square inch. So for the internet, the standard pixel depth is 72 dots per inch.
Oh,
For
okay.
print, the standard pixel depth is 300 dots per inch.
Okay.
Whenever you're scanning, I always suggest that you scan at 600 dots per inch, because whenever there are good maybe times that you want to make a poster out of the artwork. And you don't want to resize a 300 DPI image. You want to resize the highest resolution image that you can find in order to make it fit where you need it to fit. I have printed from a 600 DPI super crisp and clean 18 by 24 posters. They look great. And you can't do that by resizing a JPEG from the internet, right? I've done internet. I've done design jobs where people bring me something that they got off the internet and said, "Can we put this into a print document?" I'm like, "Yeah, no," because everything is all pixelated and horrible. Colored files are usually colored at about 300 or 451 dots per inch. 451 sounds odd, but when I was working for DC, that's what they required. Was the oddest thing. At 7x10 at 451 dots per inch. That's what they wanted. Oh. Whereas Marvel only wanted 300 DPI. There are other things with regards to setting up files for color that Marvel did different from everyone else. But for the most part, that's what we dealt with. And we're going to go through another production notes thing probably next week where I talk about color modes and the differences between RGB and CMYK and how I set up color files. So that might be something, Napua, you might be interested in. As far as scanning modes, when you're dealing with comic books, there's only 3 scanning modes that you won't need to worry about. I'm going to open up Photoshop, and I'm actually going to pull up my scanner program and show you what that is. The 3 color scanning modes are line art, grayscale, and color. Sometimes it's like full color. So when you're working to scan, it's starting to warm up here. There's not going to have anything to scan. All right, it's scanning now, and there shouldn't be anything on my scanning bed. But I wanted to show you the differences here. All right. So my particular scanner only has 2 modes, black and white and color. Black and white is always going to be grayscale. It is best if you have a scanner that can do line art, especially when you're doing scanning of comic book art. Line art mode will essentially disregard anything other than pure black and pure white. And that's the only thing it'll scan. The color mode is useful when you have blue line art. A lot of artists nowadays use blue line to draw their underdrawings, and then they'll ink over those, or they'll do their final drawing in regular pencil and then ink over that. But the blue lines end up remaining. So you'll scan in color, drop the color in Photoshop by coming over here to channels. Let me open up a file here. I'm going to open up one of DJ's pages. You heard DJ. I'm going to open one of your pages up.
Open them up.
Open them up.
Open them up.
Open. Let's open
them up. Way at it.
Page tree. DJ's favorite page. Yeah. All right. All right. So most comic book colors color in RGB mode, and I can get into why later. But the channel things here, if you have, for example, a blue line going through your artwork like this.
Like this.
Like that.
Like
right?
this. Yeah.
You can come into the RGB here and turn off blue, and it should disappear.
Ah.
Hold on. There. Right now I'm only showing blue, and it looks different. So let me change it to CMYK. All right. Turn off blue, and the blue should disappear. So when you're drawing with blue line, you scan it in full color. You come into CMYK mode, you turn off the blue, and you can copy this, and then you can save it without the blue, and it comes black and white because you've now removed all instances of blue. Now you may have to do other things in the program itself to adjust it by adjusting levels for that particular color or what have you, but that's something you can get into later. Whenever you're scanning artwork out, again, always 600 DPI. Once you get your artwork scanned, and I am going to show you this part because this is a very important thing that not everyone does. Saving your files in when you save your files in the proper format, when you save line art in bitmap TIFF mode, the largest your file should be is about 3 megabytes in size, period. If it's more than that, you did something wrong or there's some grayscale in it. If once I've taken those pages and I've colored them and I have layer effects and I did special effects to them, this is the size of my working files. So if you look here at page 5, it's only 1.7 megabytes. That's because I haven't done anything to it. It's flats and line art, and that's it. This one here, page 4, I just started coloring it, so there's no special effects. There's not a whole lot of color gradients. So that's 15 megabytes. Page number 3, on the other hand, if you look at it, it's 295 megabytes. That is because I've got a minimum of 5 layers and I'm doing color holds and special effects, and that's affecting the size of the artwork. The most normal size pages would be between page 1 here and page 2, page 1 being 80 and page 2 being 160. Somewhere in between that is the standard size for layered color files. Once you've got this files done, I do a process called trapping. Who here knows what trapping is? Raise your hand. No one. So I guess we're going to have another production notes about that at another time. Trapping. The other thing is once you finish coloring and you got the layer files completed, I save my files as compressed TIFFs, flattened to one layer, and with no channels of additional information. That one page that was almost 300 megabytes is now only 62 megabytes. The other page that was, 300 megabytes is 80, 160 megabytes is 60, and the 80 megabyte file is only 35 megabytes because TIFF uses something called LZW compression. It can reduce the size of files. But the most important thing about LZW, it is a lossless compression. If you ever save the JPEG file, JPG, and you have to zoom in, it becomes pixelated. It's lots of stray pixels everywhere. That's kind of odd. That's because that is a lossy compression, meaning in order to reduce the file size, you lose some clarity of the image. The LZW TIFF compression, you don't lose any data from your file. It just compresses it. So yes, the files are larger than JPEGs, but they're actually better files because you're not losing any pixel information. What else do I have in here?
You know, when you save them like that, do you need like a certain app or something to open them up?
No. So anything with a layer requires a program that can read the layer, right? So you need Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint, some program that can read the different layers. Once you have it,
you're trying to preview them on like Dropbox or something.
Right. Well, that's because they're ginormous files. And Dropbox doesn't necessarily do it because it's a web-based program. It doesn't necessarily do layer files. Some web applications can do layer files, but they're few and far between.
Oh, okay.
With regards to the final color files, for example, let me pull one up here. Let's look at the same page, page 3. This color file here, if you look down here at the channels, I'll put up over here. The channels there are 4 channels: cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and then they have what's called a composite channel, which isn't really a channel. It's just all 4 channels that you can view. Cyan looks like this. This is all that blue. Magenta, let me zoom in over here.
There we go.
Okay, that's cyan.
Okay.
That's magenta.
Wow.
That's yellow.
Wow.
And this is black. So if you put the cyan and magenta together, it looks like that. You put the cyan and the yellow together, it looks like this. The magenta and yellow together looks like this.
Cool.
So trapping, let me go over it really quick. Trapping isn't as important as it used to be. So whenever you're using a 4-color printing model, right? You've got 4 colors: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. The first color they print is yellow. Then they'll print on top of that magenta. On top of that, they'll print cyan. And the very end, they'll print black. Okay. In the old printer system, sometimes the machine would get jostled, and where it should be like this, right, it ends up like this, right? That's where you would sometimes in old comics see like a halo of a different color that you don't think belongs there, like a magenta sitting off to the side a little bit because the plates that they printed with shifted a little bit and moved. One way we've learned to fix that is to do what's called trapping. How do I say this? No color is made with just one color, except for like cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So if I'm looking here under the green is made from what colors? Tell me. Green.
Blue
what color is
and
green?
yellow. Cyan
and yellow in this case. So black, however, is not made with just black, right? Black in printing is made with percentages of cyan, magenta, and yellow, and then black. Okay? So if you look at it here, if you remember, when we go back here to cyan only, right? There is right here, right there. This is where the black would be, right? Right over here. But there's also some of that gray there. That gray indicates that there's some cyan in that color. But put the magenta in next to it, magenta only, there's some magenta there as well. If I do yellow, there's some yellow there as well. And then black goes on top of it. So whenever black is printed, you've got percentages of cyan, magenta, yellow, and then black. So if that shift happens, that black won't look purely black underneath there because the shift happens. So one of the things we do in comics is we do what's called trapping. Trapping, let me try to get the most recent page that you did, DJ. That I did of yours. I believe it's issue 6. I think I did trapping on this one. Yeah, I did trap this one. All right. So if we look at this.
Blow up? Yeah.
And let's just look at this right here. This is a good example. You've got this red, orange hair, the white of the band, and then the black lines here. If you look under the black, you'll see that it's got this gray undercolor, right? That's called undercoloring. And that is 60% cyan, 40% magenta, and 40% yellow. And that gives us a blue-black, which is nice in print. But you'll notice that if you remove the black line art, look specifically right here, right where my cursor is. If I remove the black line, you'll notice that the undercoloring is smaller. That's because what we're doing is we're saying, okay, if the line here is 3 pixels wide, we're going to take 1 pixel and we're going to cut it out on either side. So now we're going to have this much undercolor so that if the color shifts 1 pixel either way, it's still black underneath. I know it's hard to explain. It'd probably be easier if you guys are sitting right next to me and I can show you. But undercoloring is a way to, the trapping is a way to make sure the quality of comics is good. Now, this is one of those things. I'm sorry?
That's selecting, right? So it's easier you selecting?
No, it has nothing to do with selecting. Because none of this happens while I'm coloring or selecting. This happens at the very end when I'm done. This is only about making sure that your printing is clean and there's no shifting in halo. The trapping is one of those things that not a whole lot of new colorists or even artists know about. They don't care about it because a lot of modern printing processes don't use it, especially the digital press. But the problem still exists sometimes, and some of them won't even know how to fix it, which is, I think, an issue to me because I'm such a completist. I want to know all this stuff. Anyway, that's trapping. I wanted to do one last thing, and this is something that has saved my life on more than one occasion. This particular thing that I'm going to show you right now. And when I was working for Wildstorm DC Comics, I helped create a computer coloring handbook or a manual of how to do it. And in it, I had basically coloring has about 10 rules. The first 3 rules have to do with show clarity, depth, space, mood. The first 4. The 5th rule, from rule number 5 to rule number 10, is save early, save often. Save early, save often. Save early, save. Do you know how many times I've lost an entire book from coloring? Once, because I never wanted it to ever happen again. I was working on a book. I had everything saved except for this one page that I was working on. It was like I had spent 4 hours working on it, and then my power went out, and I hadn't saved anything, and that page was now gone. I had to start over from 4 hours ago, which meant my entire day was lost. I hated that day. So one of the important things that you learn when you're coloring, and because we're such an important step in the production cog, so to speak, is you learn that saving your files correctly and in a manner that is easy for everyone to remember is important. So every file that I make is saved in a similar manner. In this particular case, I'll show it to you this way. Let me show my list. Actually, I could do it on another page. Sorry. I already opened it up. I should show it this way. All right. Here we go. Every black and white file, every file I color has this kind of a naming convention. Okay. The first part, the title of the book. In this case, it's Exilian. I create either 3 or 4 letter shortcut for that particular title. For me, Exilian will always be EXIL. That will be Exilian. I have a space, and then I have the issue number. In this case, issue number 06. So this is Exilian 6. A dot, and then the page number. Exilian 06, page 1. Then the next piece of information is the state or the what kind of file this is. In this case, it's a black and white file. To me, black and white always means 600 DPI bitmap file. Always. If it's not that, I change that. If it's, for example, if it's only a 300 DPI, I will go here EXIL 060 BW 300 to make sure that I know that it's not this one. BW always means 600 DPI. Next stage of coloring for me is called the RGB or layer phase. And again, the same process. Page title, the book title, EXIL, issue number, issue page number, the state. In this case, it means RGB. For me, RGB always means a layer file. It has a line art channel. It has a background layer. It may have more than background layer. I may have special effects layers, but this is my working files. These are the things I do most of my business side and business in. Once I finish this and I've saved it and I've trapped it and I prepared it for print, this is the format it goes to. EXIL number 6, page 1, COL, which to me means color. And color always means CMYK file with no extra channel. By creating these file naming conventions, whenever I need to find a file, I don't have to go dig around anywhere. I can type in my search bar EXIL page 6.25, and I'll get, if I just do those 3 things, I'll get both the black and white, the layer, and the CMYK file, the color file. And this has saved me so many times, you have no idea, when I can't find things. Like when I have 5 books that I want to have someone color, and I don't know where anything is. And you have to go dig around somebody's Dropbox to go find them. But so it's things like this that I learned while I was on staff at Wildstorm and DC Comics that has made coloring freelance not without mistakes, but with fewer mistakes than there could have been. So hope this is informational to someone. I think next week we'll talk about how I set up my color files, and we'll talk more about color modes. And maybe I'll try to have a better presentation than just me talking and you guys listening. So I'll have like a slideshow or something. I had prepared an entire slideshow for the Maui Comic Con where Chief DJ and I were supposed to do an inking panel that never happened because nobody came and got us.
Himself,
Huh?
I think Uncle Steve did them by himself,
Yeah, I don't know. And they really should have come and got us, and I didn't know that what was going on. I didn't even know where to go.
Yeah.
They never told us anything. So, Alika, that's one thing we should work on. If you need help, I will help you organizing your panels a little bit better. But another time, I want to actually do that presentation here on our podcast. So
yeah. Yep.
That's all I got for now.
All right.
So I'm going to thank Napua for time. I know we could probably keep going and doing more, but I've got to take someone home. We had an issue here with someone's car, so I have to take someone home, and he lives in Waipahu.
Oh.
I'm in Kailua, so not looking forward to it.
I got to go sleep. I got to go.
No, Swan.
No, Swanee, we are not going to do 2 more hours.
I can't make it either.
All right.
I gotta
Ladies,
go
I
on my
appreciate your time.
trailer thing.
And thank you for talking to us about your project, Napua. We enjoyed hearing your opinions on some of our topics that we usually discuss. Next week, we are going to be moving to a new time. We will be streaming on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock because DJ likes to think that Thursdays feel like the end of the week and he doesn't have anything to say. On Tuesdays, he's got lots to say.
Well, I don't know. Like, okay, we'll move to Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll move to Tuesday next week. And I've already lined us up another guest.
Okay.
I haven't told him yet, but he said he's willing to jump in. So we're gonna try to get Todd Bernardi to speak to us about his books, and we'll look forward to having him there with us.
I forgot,
ladies.
super early Wednesdays, so we gotta stream early on Tuesdays.
That's fine with me. 6 o'clock is okay with me.
Okay.
Well, I'll be
Not
late.
for On
I'll
though.
be coming home for work.
Yeah, On will be coming from work. If you're there when you show up On, we are always happy to have you there with us.
Thank you. I'll try not to
Napua,
be.
Napua, again, thank you so much for your time. We appreciated having you on the stream today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, folks, aloha, DJ, whenever you're ready. You know what? I'm gonna make us a song that we can use as closing and opening bumper music. Thank you for joining the podcast. Talk Story with DJ and Kanila. Have a good night. Aloha.
All right. Bye.